Hey guys, Ivan here at ivanmana.com. In this video, I want to show you how to promote ClickBank products using the Microsoft Audience Network, which is basically a native ad network where your ads will show on Microsoft partnered websites like MSN Outlook, in emails, or just in general when you go to, for example, yahoo.com. So it's going to look something like this. As you can see here, there are some ads in the mail. This isn't available for everyone yet, so it looks like it's only available in US, UK, Canada, and Australia. And if you still don't have access to it, if you still don't see the options that I'm about to show you, make sure to contact support and ask them. That's what I had to do. I had to contact support, tell them, hey, please approve me into this audience network program so I could run some ads, and they did immediately. So in this video, we're going to select our ClickBank product. We're going to set it up with ClickMagick for tracking so we can track our sales, and then we're going to promote it on the Microsoft Audience Network. Before we get into it, guys, make sure to hit like and subscribe if you enjoy tutorial videos like this, and make sure to hit the notification bell icon so you get notified when I release more videos just like this. That being said, let's get straight into it. Let's select our ClickBank product. We're gonna head over into ClickBank. Let's click on Marketplace. We've promoted a bunch of different products before, guys. Make sure to check videos out. We've promoted at least 5 to 10 different products already in my other videos. I'll put them in the description. For today, let's do a little something different. Let's go into self-help, into the self-help section, and let's select a product here. Now, the first thing I always tell you guys to do is read the affiliate terms. So go to the affiliate page. So right-click this. For example, if you want to promote this offer, go through here, go through the rules, because most of these offers, you're not allowed to either promote without a website, i.e. direct link, or they have certain rules and restrictions. Like there's only one person that is allowed to promote on Google and Bing, like for this product, The Lost Ways. For The Secret Obsession, you're not allowed to direct link, and your landing page must be approved. So these two offers pretty much fall right off the bat. You're not allowed to really promote these two on Bing because of their rules. So make sure you read through them, and if you don't follow them, don't be surprised if you get suspended from the offer, okay? So we're gonna scroll down here. Let's select this product here. I took a look at the affiliate terms, of course. Before we promote, we have to make sure we're allowed to. And we entered something here, and I wasn't able to find any restrictions here on Microsoft ads or Facebook ads or wherever you wanna promote. But the onus is on you guys before you actually promote it to double check and make sure it's allowed. Maybe head over to bing.com and see if others are using it. Sometimes the offer says you're not allowed to promote on Bing and you see other affiliates doing it. If that's the case, you know, the onus is on you. Like, just know that it isn't allowed. So if anything happens, don't be surprised, even if others are doing it. So let's head over into our ClickBank product. So let's promote this one. Let's take a look and see what this offer looks like. So it looks something like this. So it looks like we're going to be promoting, you know, a way to increase credit score, it looks like, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is let's head over into ClickMagick and let's create this link, okay? So we're going to go over here. Let's click on promote. Let's generate hop link. We're going to copy that link, close out of that. Let's go into ClickMagick. Let's click on tracking links. If you're direct linking, you can easily just create tracking links. You don't have to use campaigns. In fact, you can't. If you're direct linking, you can't even use campaigns. So we're going to click on create a new link. We're going to paste our link here. And we're going to click this little wrench icon. We'll click on add affiliate ID and we'll click on ClickBank affiliate. Now I have a whole video devoted to setting up sales tracking with ClickMagick and ClickBank. Make sure to check that video out. I'll put it in the description, and there's going to be a little circle that's going to swoop up. If you don't have the sales tracking set up yet, guys, it's important that you do that. So make sure to check that video out, okay? But over here, we're going to say, you know, what's the name of this product? Smart Money Secret. So we can name this. We can say Smart Money Secret and Smart Money. So what this is going to do for us right here, what we're doing now is creating a tracking link so we can use this link to promote on Microsoft so we can get credit for our sales. Because if we just take people to this page, we're not going to get the sales, right? It has to go through our special link, which looks nasty. So we have to kind of make it look pretty, and that's what we're doing with ClickMagick. So if we click on this link, here's what that looks like, and we're going to be using this link, okay? So now that we've done that, and assuming you watched the video on how to set up sales tracking between ClickMagick and ClickBank, I did it about 20 or 30 times already, guys. So again, make sure you set up sales tracking correctly if you haven't. And let's head over to Microsoft Ads and let's create this audience campaign. So let's close out of that. we're going to click on create campaign. So regular setup. As usual, we're going to click on visits to my website unless you have conversion tracking set up, in which case, ideally, you want to select conversions, or if you want to track phone calls, depending on what you want to do, select the objective. We'll click visits to the website. And then on the right-hand side, we have an option. So now we can either do regular search ads or audience ads, which are going to show up throughout the Microsoft Audience Network. So we're just going to go ahead and select audience ads here. Again, if you don't have it, guys, click on help, click on live chat, and make sure to contact support, okay? So make sure to contact them and tell them, hey, I want access to audience network ads. They might mistaken it and say, oh yeah, well here, go here to do audiences. Say, no, it's not search ads. I want specific audience ads. Send them this video if you have to, and just show them what I mean by, this option here. And they should give you access if you're in one of the 4 countries listed. I think it was UK, US, Canada, and Australia, right? And then we'll click next. And then here, we're just going to fill in the blank. So let's enter the campaign name here. So again, what's the name of the product? It's Smart Money Secret. So we'll just name it here. And we can leave the budget as is. It's all good. $20. You can set it whatever you want to. For the ad group name, let's leave it blank for now. What I like to do for the ad group name is set the ad group after we set an option here. Okay, so after we select a specific company or industry, I like to name the ad group with the categories that we selected, so it's easier for us to reference later on. So we don't have to actually click the ad group to see what we selected. This pop-up is getting annoying. Let me see if we can close out of that. Okay, so it looks like it keeps popping up, never mind. But this is where you select your kind of audiences, okay? So unlike Google Display Ads, where you can select specific websites, like exact websites, exact YouTube videos where you want your ads to show to, you don't have that option in Microsoft, but you can show it to specific people. So for example, people that work at specific companies, or people that work in certain industries or have certain job functions. So you're just gonna check mark these options, and then we can target them. You can also select audience. So if you have a remarketing list, which I cover in my other videos or my courses, you will be able to set up the remarketing lists. And so you can select any of this. So we can check mark everything, and then you can select or deselect options as we go. So we can show our ads to people depending on all these different settings. So let's go through them really quickly. So for example, where do you want the ads to appear? Is it just Canada and US, or do you want to select specific locations? Like over here, it says Canada, US. Let's say we also want to add Australia. We'll type Australia, we'll click enter. We'll say target. We'll type in, let's say United Kingdom. Enter. And give it a second to load, and then we'll target. Okay, so now we have all these locations. We're going to leave it at that. So now our ads are going to show only to people in these locations, okay? We can enter an age group. So if you know that your product is tailored more so to older folks or younger folks, you can set your date range here. In our case, what is this? How to get out of debt. We can probably leave it at any age group. Doesn't really matter. This is worth testing. These are things you can test. I have no idea what age group's going to perform. So it's up to you to run these ads and to see what's working. So we're going to leave it at that. You can select your audience here. So if you have a remarketing list, you're going to click here, you'll click on remarketing list, and then you're going to select a remarketing list. So in this case, we created a list from one of the earlier videos on visitors who didn't sign up to our landing page. You can add that list here by clicking the little plus sign. Now it's going to be added. If we do that, we don't have anyone here, so our numbers will go drastically down, right? So now we're basically not going to promote to anybody because we're targeting this specific audience. We don't have anyone here. This campaign's useless. So we're just going to go in and remove that. But that's how you do it. You could also create in-market audience. So these are people that are in the market for something as deemed by Microsoft Ads. So if they go to Microsoft partnered websites and they search for example, new cars, or they do car comparisons this specific month, and they normally don't do that, Microsoft will deem them as in market, for example, for cars. And you can click here and you can select specific options for vehicles or maybe for specific car sections. So you have a lot of options to work with here, but this is the in-market segment, kind of like what we had with Google Ads. If you watched my display Google Ads video, I'll put the link in the description. It's kind of the same thing here. You can target people that are in the market for something right now. They're looking to buy something as deemed by Microsoft Ads, okay? So based on their algorithms. So that's an option here. You can select in market. Again, you can create remarketing. If you have like a shopping list, you can create dynamic remarketing lists. We're not going to get into that here, so we'll just keep scrolling down. You can add exclusions. So if you have like a remarketing list for people who signed up, maybe you want to exclude them here because you don't want to target people that have already purchased your products, for example, okay? But that's what you would do here. So we're not going to do anything here. We're going to leave it. Now, here's where really the meat and bones of this native advertising platform in Microsoft comes in, is you can select specific company name, you can select their industry, and you can select the specific job function that they work in. And you can target these people. So for example, people that work at Microsoft, you can click enter, and now you can target these people. Now, it says greater than 10,000 employees. We don't know the number. So it could be 100,000, it could be 200,000. If it caps at greater than 10,000. So it goes from like 51 to 200, 200 to 1,000, 1,000 to 5,000, 5,000 to 10,000, and then greater than 10,000, okay? So if it says greater than 10,000, this doesn't mean it has like, 12,000 people. It could have 100, 200, 300,000 people. We don't know, okay? But basically, this has a lot of people working at Microsoft. So if we select this, we are now going to target people that work at Microsoft, that are Microsoft employees, as deemed by Microsoft based on their history and their whatever. I'm sure they had to set up a special Microsoft account or something that cover these genders, which is any gender, and that are in these countries. So right now we're targeting about 2.1 million people per month, or possible. Based on their estimates, our ad is going to be seen 2.1 million times in the next month, okay? Approximately, based on all the settings that we set up. Now this seems like a bit much. There's probably not 2 million people working at Microsoft, but this is an estimate and it's for the entire month, okay? So keep that in mind as well. So we can target by company. We can also select industries or job functions. So for example, our product is, it's a finance related product, right? What's your credit score? So we'd probably want to, this is actually pretty tough because people in any industry that have any job could have issues with credit cards, right? It doesn't have to be any specific one. So it wouldn't be correct to select finance here because people that work in finance don't necessarily have finance problems. So in this case, what you would do is you would probably just go in and just test different options. You could maybe select, hardware or I can't even think of anything where people would have credit card issues, really. Probably not legal, right? People that are lawyers, maybe they probably don't have credit card issues. So I don't know. You would have to look through this. Ideally, if you select an offer, for example, Ted's Woodworking or Easy Battery Reconditioning, these are very, very niche, right, offers. These ones probably not everyone will be interested in. So the more niche your product is, like in this case, it's not very niche because everybody could have issues with credit cards. The better this works out, like this targeting. Because if you're selecting, for example, Easy Battery Reconditioning or Ted's Woodworking, you can target people that like wood, that have a job in something to do with construction, for example, right? Or Easy Battery Reconditioning, people that have a job in car automation or something, and maybe they want to save batteries. Things like that, right? You get the idea. The more niche it is, the more this comes to use. But if you're promoting like a make money online or weight loss product, well, people can be looking to lose weight in any niche, regardless of niche, right? So it gets a bit harder, but this is how you do it, okay? So I'm just showing you how you do it, and then it's up to you to actually put it to use. So for example, if we want to target people, this isn't going to relate, right, for credit card, but let's say chemicals, okay? So we're targeting people that work in the chemical industry. So I don't know, biochemists, what's the job name? Chemists, right? And then you can target people that have specific jobs. So people that have a job as a teacher, maybe as a principal. I don't know if that counts here. Or you can target people that have a job as legal, like a lawyer maybe. So you can target lawyer. You can target people that work in healthcare, okay? And so now we're reaching probably going to be way less. Yeah, so this is going to be, too narrow of an audience, because what this does is we are now targeting people that have a job in, or that are lawyers, that are, healthcare workers, and they work in the chemistry niche, and they work at Microsoft. So probably not going to happen. So that's why it says our audience is, too narrow, right? So we can't use it. So we would probably, let's remove Microsoft, okay? And what this here does, okay, what these options are. So the way this works, pay attention to what I'm going to say here, because there's a difference between or and and. So if you add all these options here, it's going to be or, which means, what I mean by that is people that have a job, or that have a legal job, or their healthcare services, or whatever else you put here, but it also has to match one of these other, or all these other categories that you put in. So they have to be one of these, but they also must be one of these that you set here. So in this case, they work in the chemistry industry, or they work, if you go to retail, I don't know, they work in the supermarket industry, right? So when you select these options here, over here, you're saying they must be legal or healthcare. So either one is fine. But they must, in addition to either one of these, they must also work in the chemistry field or in the supermarket industry, okay? And again, they must, in this case, we didn't select the audience, we didn't select an audience. They must be any age, which, you know, obviously, but they also must be in any of these countries, okay? So we're targeting about 289,000 people, which is super, well, actually, again, let me rephrase that. It's not 289,000 people you're targeting. That's how many monthly impressions you're estimated to get. So that's not how many people there are, okay? But that's just estimates. And so the main thing that I'm trying to tell you guys is that all of these are kind of independent entities on their own. So if you select a company, people must work at that company in addition to whatever other settings you want. So it's not like, well, they could be in the chemistry industry, or they could be in the supermarket, or they could be legal. No, they have to be in one of these, and they must be in one of these, okay? So I'm just trying to drive that point across. It's very important. If you've done Facebook ads or followed my Facebook ads videos, it's the same idea as when you narrow target interest groups. So when you say, and this interest group and this interest group, okay? Not or, if you know the difference. But let's suppose this is who we're targeting right now. Again, this probably doesn't make too much sense for our product, but our product is just so broad. It's like anybody can have issues with credit cards, right? So it's kind of hard to pinpoint specific niches. So the only thing I can think of is if you're more in the wealthier occupations and wealthier industries or jobs, maybe you don't have as many credit card issues. So maybe you want to target people that work in more kind of lower paying fields, and maybe they will have issues with credit card payments and they want to increase their credit score, things like that. So that's one thing you could do. I don't know kind of what the salaries are for all of these options, but like, for example, legal, you probably know that they're getting paid pretty well, or like, you know, health and like doctors, they probably get paid pretty well, right? So you maybe don't want to show the offers to them, okay? But this is an example. Now, one thing we should do is also, don't forget, we have to add our ad group name, right? So what we could do here is we're targeting these countries. So let's start with that. Let's say UK plus US plus Canada plus Australia, and then we can do 2 double slashes or whatever, however you want to do it. There's no right answer, but the point is you want to kind of let yourself know, you want to be able to reference and say, what targeting did you do? Is this a remarketing campaign? Did we add our audiences? What targeting, right? So in this case, we're targeting industry. Let's say industry, chemicals, and supermarkets. Let's say chemicals plus supermarkets, and then we can do 2 slashes, and then, you know, these are the industry. And then we could say legal healthcare services, and that's the job. We could say legal plus healthcare services. So that's up to you to decide how you want to do it. Maybe you want to say, like, you know, this is profession, prof is legal, and then this is industry. Maybe you want to do that. That's up to you. To me, for example, I know that industry is above the exact job, the exact occupation. So for me, I wouldn't even write that. But again, up to you how you want to do it. I'm just showing you the how. So we're going to scroll down here, and we're pretty much good here. So now we've done the targeting. Now we have to create the actual ad, right? We have to indicate what it's going to look like. Now, just like Facebook, just like Google, and pretty much any other ad platform, they do have an integration with stock images. So over here, we have an image of like money. It's a skyrocket, right? So maybe let's see if we can do like a, let's see what happens if we type in skyrocket. I'm looking for maybe like a graph, like a picture of money and a graph ideally. So maybe say graph. So maybe we want something with like an upward, you know, maybe something like this. That looks okay because it's like, you know, it's like, it's a businessman and he's, you know, looks like he's successful, right? Because he's got the whole suit on. So maybe we can select one of these images. There's no right answer, guys. Just find any image that floats your boat. Ideally, you obviously, of course, want to create custom images that really speak to your audience and that maybe have a little bit of text in there. But for the time being, we can use this. And these are pretty good looking images as they are. So the one that really stood out at the start was maybe something like this, right? So we can have, so it's like, you know, it's going up, credit score is going up. And that's what credit scores normally look like. So if you go to any credit report updating website, they normally have like a chart that looks like this, which tells you how, I mean, I guess it depends, but I'm just trying to think of ways that this could be relevant to our product, okay? And then this is what our image is going to look like depending on all the different dimensions. Now, let's suppose you go here, or you're saying, okay, well, this one or this one-to-one, I don't like how it looks. You're going to click the plus sign, you'll click on recrop, and then you can move it around. So maybe something like this, you'll click save. Or you're saying, you know, this image sucks for this dimension. So you're going to go here, you're going to replace, you're going to go to stock images, and you'll select a different image. So maybe you'll select this one instead. And we're just going to give it a second to load. And I hope it's not broken. And then here you have a different image completely, okay? And then this is what it's going to look like for all these different variations, because there's going to be different dimensions in which your ads could be shown in, you know, around Outlook, Hotmail, probably Yahoo, I think. And it's just going to look, you know, look different. And then that's what it's going to look like. Now we can add a headline for this. So headline, 5-minute trick. So we got to make it short and sweet. Okay, so what is this about? So maybe we can start with a question. So have a poor credit score or want to bring your credit score up, right? We can do variations. So have a poor credit score, that's our question. Let's do a long headline, and then maybe we could, I'm wondering if we should save that for the description or not. Well, let's try it. So I just copied their whole headline and I pasted it here. Don't include any of these. And that actually looks pretty cool for a headline. I don't, you know, that looks pretty good. And then, oops, we can maybe add text. Like, what can we add about this? This is, maybe we can add a little bit more details, right? So we can say that could raise your credit score by as much as 104 points. Okay. So maybe let's say this exclusive opportunity that could raise yours. So let's copy that. And then obviously it's going to be a bit too many characters, but we'll work with it. So we'll say exclusive opportunity. That could raise your credit score by, is this capital? Yeah. By as much as 148 points in 90 days. Okay, let's see if there's room. By 100, okay, let's say in 90 days, and then we're gonna by up to, okay. So we could say that, and if there is room, like let's go to one of the next pictures, it will show the description here as well. So like over here, do the simple trick, exclusive opportunity. And then if there's no room, then it's gonna show just the short headline. So let's see if I could find you here. So like have a poor credit score, right? And that's basically it here. There's not much space. What's the name of this business? It is, again, keep forgetting, it is Smart Money Secret, looks like. So we could say Smart Money Secret. And now we have to enter the final URL. So what we're gonna do here is, this is our Smart Money Secret. We're gonna click on this URL. So we'll click on the magnifying glass. And this is the URL right here. Okay, now we don't have to put everything, but at the same time, you can't just use this. That's not necessarily correct, because if you just put this, it might not work. For example, if I copy this, let me show you what I mean by that. And if we go here and if we paste it and go, this might take us to a different website. In this case, it didn't. Sometimes it does, okay? So it's important that you don't just copy this and just paste it. Always check it, always double check it, because sometimes the page is different. So if it would have been different, I would have copied more. I would have copied maybe up to that part and then gone here, and then I would have pasted it. And just to be safe, I'm gonna use this URL actually, okay? So we can go in and we can use this one. So I'm gonna go in and paste that URL. Now this is the final URL. What I'd like to do is also add title case, the Smart Money Secret. Now you might be asking, Ivan, but you just told us you can't send people to this page because then we're not gonna get credit for the sale. I did tell you that, and I stick to my word. However, here's how you do get credit. We're gonna click on Advanced URL Options, and over here is where we put our URL, our tracking link, okay? So we're gonna copy that, and we're gonna paste it here. Now, when people actually click on your ad, they do not click here, okay? They actually click here, or before parallel tracking was introduced. In short, that's basically what happens when your ad is clicked on live. It's this URL that's clicked on, not this one, okay? And therefore, because this URL is redirecting people, right? It's redirecting people to this URL, we're gonna get credit for the sale. And so that's what we're doing here, okay? And that looks good. Now we can add additional kind of parameters here. So we could say slash. Now there's no keyword here, okay? So we can't use that, but we could, for example, say network. We could say, for example, things like placement. I would have to check, but I'm gonna link the website that you could go to in the description. It's gonna be something like tracking tokens for Microsoft ads, just check that URL and it's going to give you a list of different tokens you can use. So for example, you can use, ad ID, and that's going to give you the ID of this ad so you know which ad converted, okay? So things like that will allow you to see what specific placements or what ads specifically worked, okay? So once you do that, you're good to go here. I'm not seeing anything we missed, so let's click save, and then we can create another ad. Remember, we wanted to do a variation, right? So we're going to click on create another ad. We could redo this all. What I'm going to do is actually, let's just save and exit, and then we'll just duplicate it. It's going to be easier than just creating another ad from scratch. So let's click cancel. We'll click save and go to next step. Now over here, this is our budget that we set. So now we have to set the bid, okay? So $2.09, quite high for, for a native ad, for native ad clicks where the traffic isn't as fine-tuned. So maybe we want to bring it down a little bit. Let's see how many clicks 25 cents gets us. So this is going to give us about 0 to 10 monthly clicks, which isn't a lot, but if you're tight on budget, I would suggest you start low, and then if you're not seeing any clicks in the next day or two, you increase the bid, okay? So don't start super high and then spend $200 in one day and then say, oh shoot, like I shouldn't have done it. Start low if you're tight on budget and then slowly increase it. So if you're not seeing any clicks, nothing's stopping you from going in there and making that 50 cents, 75 cents, $1, okay, whatever you're comfortable with. But we're gonna stick it at that or leave it at that. Let's click save, and now we've successfully created our campaign right here, okay? So let's go over here, let's finish that split test that I said we wanted to do. So we're gonna click on ads, and then I'm gonna show you where to actually go so you can add or change your audiences or see how well they're doing. Now it looks like our ad was disapproved for fireworks, so there's some, the reason is because we said skyrocket. Okay, so let's go in here and let's watch your credit get higher and watch your credit score greatly improve. So let's do that. Just watch for when your ad gets disapproved, click on that option and see what the reason is. In this case, it said fireworks, so probably because we said skyrocket. So we're just gonna do that. Let's click save here. And now it should be pending. Okay, so now it's pending, that's okay. Should be fine. So let's click here. And what we're gonna do is click on save and create another. And now it's gonna save some of these options here for us. It didn't, usually does if you do it for search. So actually, let's do this. Let's close out of that. Let's copy it. We're gonna close here and we're gonna paste it here. Go to the ads tab. Okay, so it usually gives us that issue. We have to go here and we just have to redo it. So we're gonna click here. We have to click on this ad group again. I don't know why it does that. Let me know in the comments if you guys experience the same issue. Like you have to an individual. Okay, so now it finally worked. I have no idea why it does that. This has been going on for a long time. I don't know why, where when you copy an ad and try to paste it, it says, well, you have to go back into ad groups and select that. But that's where we are. We are under the ads, right? Some of the things here are very glitchy. You'll know if you start using this. So we'll do that. Is it loading? What's going on? Okay, let's maybe pause new ads and see if that does a difference. Let's click paste. Okay, so now this is paused. So now we can go in and this, let's say we want to change a thing or two, right? So instead of saying have a poor credit score, we could say struggling with your credit score, or we can just flat out say, hey, improve your credit score, right? We can just do that. Struggling with your credit score. Struggling with or have a low, we could say have a low credit score. Okay, and then we can leave everything else as is. It's fine, same URL, same everything else. We'll click save. And now that should be good to go. So now we can unpause it, we can enable it, and now we have two ads that are split test. Now, if you want to check to see how well the categories that we selected are doing, you have two options. So make sure you go into settings for the ad group. So we have the ad group here. So if you click on settings here, it's going to take us to the campaign settings. Okay, so make sure you click add group settings. And then this is where, yeah, so now let's just click it here. So we're going to click on this ad group. It's just making us go through hoops for no reason. Let's click on settings. And then here's where you can't see the results, but you can add additional interest groups. Okay, so give it a second to load. And here you can add, again, the in-market categories. You can add age, gender, location, and the additional options where people work in and stuff like that. So here's the job function. Here you have the industry, okay, and all that. Now, over here, you see these options, which you didn't see before. You see bid only and target and bid. target and bid means you're going to show your ads only to these people. Whereas bid means you're going to show your ads to everybody, like everybody on the display network, or at least everybody under any industry, but you will be able to adjust the bid for these categories. So you're going to say, okay, well, I want to pay, I'm willing to pay an extra 20% of my bid, whatever my bid was. We said 25 cents. So I'm going to pay an extra 20% of that in addition to the 25 cents for people in supermarkets if we select bid. But your ads will still show to everybody for 25 cents. It's just they're going to show, you'll be paying more for this. If you select target and bid, then your ads will be showing only to these people, okay? So generally you want to leave it at target and bid because that's the point of these audience network ads, is you want to fine tune and show your ads to specific people. So we're generally going to leave it at target and bid. Now, the option where you actually see how well you're doing is you would have to go into demographics. And this is where you see how well you're doing. So if you go into company, give it a second to load, you will see everything here. So we don't have a company, but let's go into industry, for example. And here we have the chemicals and supermarkets. You'll see clicks, impressions, and CTR. Now, if you click on column, you can modify columns, and then you can add, if you go to performance, you can add additional options like average CPC or spend or conversions so that you can see how well they're doing. And then let's say we want to add conversions, want to add CPA, we'll click apply, or you can save it as a default. And now you'll see the conversions here. And then the same for job function, you go here and you see how well you're doing here. So again, you'll click on columns, modify, and we'll click performance. And if you want to see the CTR, the spend, the conversions, you just add them here. And that is it. That's how you create these audience ads with Microsoft. If you want to learn how to promote on Facebook ads or Google ads, check out my other videos. I will link them in the description where I take you from step A to Z. And in those videos, we actually build out our landing pages together. We create a landing page and then we promote them on Facebook or Google, or I have videos on Microsoft as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.